Well, you remember in the last episode where I said at least the top four is basically wrapped up. Yeah, you might want to scratch that statement. We're just 3 points clear going into today's episode, and we're going to have to rest people with Champions League football on the horizon. More importantly, did I mention something else? John Murtough sold a start for 67 million on deadline day. Yes, hello and welcome along to episode 124 of John Murtough's Centre Midfield Scouting Centre today. We are back to meet another centre midfielder that joined on deadline day after a big star was sold on deadline day 2. That player was not a centre midfielder. And we've of course got a chance to reach the Champions League quarter final, but we're going to have to rest people in the league, and in recent weeks that has harmed us greatly. If you're looking forward to seeing who John Murtough sold and which other midfielder he's decided to bring in, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We're going to start with the transfer centre, and we'll get to the disappointment on the pitch after it. So 2 players leaving the club at the end of their contracts, both sort of reserve players out on loan. The transfer history, look at those stats for the season. A 65, nearly £70 million profit. And on deadline day, 2 players came in. One of them a first team player. Let me show you the one out first though, because it was just frustrating. There were technically 4, but the other 3 weren't that involved in the team. So we'll run through those quickly first. We had Kiet Heremans, who went on loan to Nantes. We had David Walker, who went on loan to Wolves. And George Jimenez, who went to Benfica for 15 million, a year after being signed for 27. Good management, John. But the big one is there. The 5th player that John Murtough has accepted an offer from Real Madrid for this year, and the 5th player chose to go. Didn't reject like the other 4. It is Luis Fernando de Buen, and he goes to Real Madrid for £67 million. And crucially, someone who is not a centre midfielder has been sold from the club, and he was one of our star performers when fit this year, and one of the youngest superstars in the team. What he's been replaced with on deadline day, well, I can only say as frustrating. Let's put it that way. We first have a third choice goalkeeper who, mind-blowingly, he is paying £36,500 a week. Oscar Moringa is that man. That's not his name at all. Oscar Magriña is his name. Apologies to him. He will probably never kick a ball for us. Probably won't ever handle one either. Not because he's not going to play, just because his goalkeeping stats are that poor for the top level. So he's dropped out and he's not going to be involved. Didn't even register him for the European squad. And Kakada is the second man to come in. Actually a pretty good signing at 12.5 million. Very similar to the one earlier in the window. A good player, a good centre mid. I've got no qualms about him being the quality we need. But it's another centre midfielder. And we've got to the position this window where we've sold a right winger and we've bought in 2 centre midfielders. And it is not good enough for what we need. I am retraining people. Ironically, when the first one came in, I started retraining Jimenez as a right winger. He then got sold. So we are a bit stuffed at the minute, but lots of good players. Not sure where they're all going to play. I'm thinking if we are here next year, and this is going to be music to the ears of some of you, that we go for a diamond, because we've got no wide players left other than Baysal now, who is a left winger that prefers to play off the right or up front. Joseph Taylor's the backup on both wings now. He's a natural striker. So I feel like playing a diamond is going to be the way through, but we don't really have a holding midfielder either. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, let's have a look at the schedule and see how it's affected form. It's not been great, if we're being honest. It's always Charlton we struggle with. We got held by them yet again in January. But before that, we beat Sheffield United 2-0, an own goal and Adam Hunter with the goals there. A 1-0 win at Salzburg due to Joseph Taylor. We rotated fully for both Champions League games. I wanted to try and get the prize money, but we needed to try and wrap up top 4 before the business end of the season. A 2-0 win against 5th place Newcastle helped that. Deverlay and Demeter with the goals. A 3-3 draw away at Sporting. A great last-ditch show from Joel North, who completed his hat-trick in the final 5 minutes. We were 1-0 up, 3-1 down. Gonzalo Ramos still going for them. But we did get back to 3-3 in the end. A 1-1 draw at Charlton. Joel North scored the goal. Then we got frustrated. Arguably it harmed us that they went down to 10, because they just sat back and we couldn't get through. A 5-0 win against Blackburn was comfortable. 2 for North, 2 for Demeter, One for Demeter, in fact, one for Guido and one for Adam Hunter. And then a 2-0 defeat at home to Liverpool. The home defeats are starting to flow now, aren't they? None for a year and a half, and then 2 within the space of 5 weeks. A 1-0 win against Coventry thanks to Joseph Taylor in the FA Cup. And then a 1-0 win away at Real Sociedad with Joel North getting a late goal off the bench. That puts us in good shape to reach the Champions League quarter-final, which is a great achievement for our first year back in several. We've got Tottenham crucially at home in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. But let's go through to the fixtures because we've got 2 big games today. It is Villa versus Manchester United. And with the second leg in 3 days and with the first leg just 3 days ago, we're going to see our new midfielders and we're going to see a lot of changes. Well, due to the winter break last month, the legs are pretty fresh at the minute, but I'm still going to take a bit of a gamble here. One player is going to start that would normally be in the first team. That is Marco Demeter. The reason is because Adam Hunter, in fact, I'm not even going to do that. I've just noticed something. We're going to bring Solis in. Vanderson will go further forward. I am taking no risks for this Champions League game, and I'll back myself to get enough points in the league season. We have got to get through to the quarters. It is a fully changed 11. Joel Finnegan stays in goal because Robles just coming back from injury. He'll be fit for midweek. He's on the bench today. But the rest of it picks itself as a backup team. It is Joel Finnegan in goal. Solis and Garcia the fullbacks with Jones and Contreras a centre-half. Kakada and Lindoso, the new duo in centre midfield. Kabadis the man ahead of those two. And then Taylor and Vanderson off Joel North up front as we head into a big game at Villa. I'm not sure that on paper that squad is good enough or that 11 is good enough to beat Aston Villa. We're probably going to find out, as we did against Everton, that it's not. But a couple of episodes ago, we got that embarrassment, and the same might happen here. Well, it's only taken till the second minute to get a highlight, and it's Aston Villa on the attack here. I have started with my usual positive mentality, but I don't know if it's the right decision. Because of the squad we've got out, maybe we should be playing on the counter more, but we've still got good ball players in the middle, and I feel if we control possession, it arguably protects our defence more than if we were to try and play on the counter and just soak up pressure, which I don't think we're capable of, as Kakada carries it forward. I've got no doubt he's going to be a decent signing for us. I just wish he could play out wide, as Taylor tries to get on the end of the through ball. Not quite there. And Stratford brings it away. Vanderson chasing him. It goes into midfield with Castro. Solis does well for a man who can't tackle. Kabadis releases North. Was he onside? Doesn't matter. He's off anyway. But that finish is abysmal. It's giving the suggestion that we're going to get lots of highlights, and I wouldn't doubt that, particularly with our defence and Villa not having a great season either. It's just whether we can get on top of them, as Garcia nicks it on halfway. Probably the best defender on the pitch, I say, as he passes it straight back to them. It's a long ball forward. I never said he was a good footballer. As Vanderson chips in towards North. Great first touch. That is brilliant from Joel North. Where would we be without the goals of our backup striker? 26 for the season in March, and he's not first choice. I know he's played a lot because of injuries this year, but that is a stunning effort. As Villa are bringing the ball forward, but it's a poor pass out. Taylor intercepts. They're trying to play out from the back, and we're catching them as Joel North shoots over. Probably should have been a bit more unselfish there. Laid in Kabadis, for example. But he didn't do it, and unfortunately, it remains just one, although we're pressing again. Contreras heads away. I have been impressed with him the few times he's played, albeit that's probably going to lead to a crucial error now, that statement, as Vanderson gives it away. Playing well so far, but he's not a winger, is he? And it might cost us a goal there, because Castro's in, and Joel Finnegan, I don't know what he was doing. He was laying on the ground before Castro got there. He's beaten it his near post, but it's more the fact that he was on his backside before the shot even looked like coming. And now Villa are level, probably against the run of play. And Vanderson is still rated as our best outfield player that hasn't scored, despite giving the ball away for the goal. At half-time, it's 1-1. It's not a bad performance, and at the start, I probably would have taken it. But given the half we've seen, we might bring on the big hitters soon. I just want to try and nick a result. We're 10 minutes gone in the second half, and we're back in possession with Kakada, who's not had a bad game in there, to be fair. His through ball is given away. Why do I keep saying people are doing all right? Every time I've said it, they've given the ball away. I should just sit in silence and let the game play out, shouldn't I? Back to the edge of the box. Oh, Joel Finnegan, what are you doing, man? You have not let that in. You're supposed to be a Premier League goalkeeper. The shot's literally gone through him. And now we've got some real work to do. There's half an hour to go. There's no harm now in chucking on the big guns. We're going to go for Devil 8 purely for the set piece threat. He's one that we've got to go for. I'm going to also look at base Alpha Taylor, who's had a poor game, unlike him. We'll bring on Ocon. We'll bring on Hodgkinson. And we'll also bring on Demeter for Solace, and we'll put Vanderson to right back. Try and give ourselves some attacking threat. Because we're 65 gone, we're 2-1 down. And we've thrown it away. Let's be honest, we were the better side for most of the first half, and 2 goalkeeper errors have cost us here. If we'd had Robles in goal, we'd probably be 1-0 up. And that's the problem when he's out injured. As Kakada finds Kabadis and Vanderson. Can we get back on terms before the subs? That would be helpful. He comes down the right-hand side. He's beating his man, in fairness. Showing some legs for an old boy, but the cross was absolutely awful because he was knackered when he got there. Taylor goes back to Kakada. He carries it forward. Back to Solis. That's support from Lindozo. Kakada. Chip to Taylor. Header back into the box. Joel North is up. And he's poaching. He's scoring again. Joel North is an absolute sensation. He is such an average player on paper. He's not overly tall. He's not overly strong. He's not great running in behind. He's not the best finisher in the world, but something about him and his team just clicks. He's a big game player. And now with the stars on, hopefully we can nick it. With base out to the back post to Devilay. It almost works as we planned it. You wonder why we made 1 sub in defence. Well, that was the reason. We wanted to get Devilay on set pieces, and he almost got the goal. But here come Villa at the other end. And unfortunately, we've still got 3 reserve defenders on. We've still got Finnegan in goal, who I never look confidently at. He was all right for us at Palace, wasn't he? But he's struggling at the minute. He wanted to go in January. He didn't get his move. And now he's costing us points in the Premier League. It's going to be a 2-2 draw. It's going to be a frustrating day. But from 2-1 behind at the hour mark, we'll take the point. We would have at the start. Now we've got to make it count. Well, it's fitness test time, and we should be back to virtually a full 11 tonight. We're not too worried about Adam Hunter not making it. He does need to sort his hair out, though. George Robles is crucially fit, and while it says he should be monitored, he's going to be starting this game. We'll just have the insurance of Finnegan on the bench. Not that he's much of a goalkeeper based on his weekend performance. Let's go and see what we can put out, though. We should be favourites with a 1-goal advantage, but you never know. We've seen this team collapse before, and now we've suddenly lost our invincibility at home. I'm going to leave Joel North on the bench as a super sub. Same for Taylor to an extent as well. Carlos will go in, give us a bit more bite and hard work in midfield. He's also fit enough to then probably play the weekend as well. So our 11 for today is Robles between the sticks. That feels like the most important bit of news. Simmons and Humphreys the fullbacks, with Devilay and Hervenhoff a centre half. Hodgkinson and Carlos the midfield 2. Guido the man ahead of them. And then Demeter and Baysal off Ocon up front. He's playing in that more advanced role today. Let's hope he's able to produce a performance. They've made 4 changes the away side. They are pretty good. 5th in the league at the moment, I think they are. So we have technically played 2 better sides this season in Villarreal and in Atletico, both in the group stages. The Champions League music will be here any second. We'll let it play this time because we want to enjoy it. But this is such a big night for this football club. I know it's sad to say, but in paying off debts, in meeting the loan obligations, it's huge. And if we can go on a run to the semis, who knows, maybe even further, then maybe it's the opportunity to get transfer budgets in this summer, because otherwise we're going to be working on scraps again. We cannot keep selling players and buying people for a fraction. We can't keep making a 50 million transfer window profit every single window. There's something's got to give, and Manchester United need to get back to the top. We've taken them back to the Champions League. We've taken them through the group stages. Now, can we take them any further? Let's go and find out. Sociedad, sticking with their principles of playing out from defence, did catch them out for the goal in the first leg, as North able to take advantage. But will it do the same this time around? If Hervenhoff lets it bounce at the back, he plays wide to Humphreys. We do need to find that invincibility at Old Trafford again, make it a fortress, because what's costing us a couple of games there, and maybe the confidence is gone as Guido misses the first big chance of the match. It's a good save by the keeper, but he shouldn't have had a chance. You can play short there, Guido. He doesn't. He plays into Ocon. It's a terrible corner. Doesn't even beat the first man. It's cleared downfield with ease, but who's going to get there? We're never going to find out. City, our neighbourhood rivals, are in the last 16 as well. They're playing tonight. We'll be hoping that they go out because they'll beat us if we play them. I just want to get through and get a relatively friendly quarter-final draw. Get us to the semis. That's a great year. As Emir Baysal's hit the post, how's that not gone in? Inside of the post, and it somehow bounced out. Such a frustrating one, that. 10 minutes gone, we've had 2 good chances, and it still remains goalless here. 1 goal, and I feel the tie's done. Atletico are beating Real Madrid. We had a narrow defeat at them, didn't we? He's not giving that, is he? It didn't look that bad. Don't do it again. Every big game. Every big game. How many times do we need to say this since the January update? Every single big game is settled by a red card. We had it a couple of episodes ago in the Builder Nation. We've had it at least 15 times now. No red cards for months and months and months, and in the big game, and it's always the player who's the least aggressive with an innocuous looking challenge. Oh, this is doing my head in. Right, thankfully, tactically, it doesn't mean much. We'll move Guido out to the right. He'll be an inverted winger. And we're going to play a bit more narrow now because obviously we're going to have 2 inverted wingers out wide. But less of the pitch to cover. We'll try and keep it the same. We can still be positive. We can still be dominant. If we get a goal, then we'll sit back. But that could change the momentum of this tie drastically and maybe turn this night to a disaster. Now Guido's picked up a knock. We'll try and get him to half time, but we're running out of players that can feature out there. Who do we go for in the end? I'll tell you what, we'll just bring Taylor on. And then on here, we'll do the swap positions. Try and cause a bit of confusion in a Sociedad defence. We're not going to be able to take Baysal off later because there's no other wingers there. So these 2 will be it for the game now. A red card and an injury in the first 35 minutes. And before that, what's more annoying is that we dominated the game and should have been 2 goals up. At half-time, though, this tie is on a knife edge. And the referee has cost us big time. I can't believe that such innocuous challenges in every single big game are causing issues. It's since the January update, I promise you. I'd love to know your thoughts on it because I can count at least 15 occasions where it's happened here. As Ocon picks the ball up in the middle, loses possession, excellent stuff. He's had a stinker up front as well, by the way. Might take him off in a moment, go for Joel North, or maybe just take Carlos off and drop Ocon back. As Hodgkinson looks for Baysal, could be the goal we need on a counter. Emir Baysal is in, and that might be the biggest moment of the night because Baysal takes his chance. We've not had many of them since the red card, and now I'm going to take Ocon into centre midfield and Carlos off for Joel North because on the counter, I want ruthless strikers, and Joel North's a man in form. As Rivero picks the ball up at the back for Sociedad. We'll see how they go here because they hoof over the top, but I actually feel playing on the front foot is better for us. We're protecting our defence. Not sure what that pass out was. And we're also still pushing them up the pitch, so they're having to keep their defensive line. As Humphreys throws in from the right to Deverlay. Into Humphreys again. A support inside from Ocon, who can carry it. Looks up for Joel North. Can he be a hero again? He can't, but the header away is poor to Baysal. He holds up on the left. There's 3 in the middle. Goes for the back post for Taylor. Cuts back for Henry Ocon. And from midfield, he's missed a sitter. You've got to do better than that. And now I'm starting to look at changes again as Robles plays out to Simmons. Oh, what it's like to have a good goalkeeper in there. Sure, he'll make a mistake now. As Simmons brings it forward to North. He's in behind the defender. Joel North to wrap up the tie. Forced wide, but wins the corner. Oh, we need that second. Because then there's no threat. We can just relax. Play the short corner, Emir. Play the short corner. He does to Taylor. He beats his man. Cuts inside. We still look a threat from these short ones at times. Taylor goes alone. His shot is wild. But this is a very good performance in the circumstances. We're getting told about players that are 1 yellow from a suspension. I'm not worrying about that tonight. This is not comfortable enough to do so. As Humphreys gets it forward here. Gives the ball away. Right on cue. Pedro carries over halfway for the visitors. Big switch to the right. Was he onside? Doesn't matter because Simmons is there. It's a very heavy touch. He gets away with it. Hervenhoff to Hodgkinson. Switch to Humphreys at right back, who might be one of the candidates to come off here. Down the line to Baysal. Cuts it inside. Those 2 switching flanks is working for us. So Taylor, good touch there to beat the defender. Was North onside? I don't think he was. We're going to VAR. I mean, it'd be great if it counted because it would be a super sub moment again. But I'm not sure. It looked off to me. And the offside flag remains. VAR disallows the goal. It stays just 2-0 on aggregate. Let's go and have a look at changes once the highlight ends. Because Sociedad are straight up the other end with the left back Condongo. He gets down the left wing. Albert chips in. Flick down for Pedro. This could be danger. And it's in the top corner with a brilliant finish. And now the tie is very much alive again. Who on earth do we bring on here? None of the subs improve us. I'm going to leave it for now. But we have got to find a way through. Do I drop to balance? Do I do it? Or does it just invite pressure? They've barely had a kick in this game. Oh, Jesus, come on. Another injury. This time Henry Ocon. Hervenhov's nervous, so we'll bring on Kieran Jones for him. I'm going to take Ocon off for probably Kakada, I think is the most sensible option. And then what do? Humphreys off at right back for the experience of Vanderson. He's a man who's been there, done it, got the t-shirt. But I am really concerned now. It's a great little back heel to Messina. They're in 1-on-1. It's 2-1. What a night. What a night. How the hell have we managed to throw this away? Why is it a red card every time? Are we even going to have people fit for the weekends? Especially now as we look like we might be going to an extra 30. Given the way this is going, I'll take it for now. Deverlay plays to Vanderson. Kakada away. Chips down the right to Baysau. It's one more chance. It would be a great time to nick it. You might even get me charging down the touchline. Baysau in. Oh, what's that? What are you doing, man? Either hit the target or play it across the box. Don't just wildly smash it. I mean, look at the game stats. How we've lost 2-1 on the night, I don't know. The injuries are unfortunate. The red cards are getting ridiculous. We've dominated the match overall. Hodgkinson is the man we're being told to take off, but he is our creative spark, albeit we have got replacements. As Kakada puts North in. Joel North's offside. Oh, what a night. You've just got a feeling it's not going to be our day at the minute. Though Joel North's nicked the ball high again. He's working his backside off. Finds Kakada with a flick. He gives the ball away. Oh, these January signings, they're not up to scratch yet with our team. And here's Uriarte playing out from the back. This is heartbreaking to watch. It should have been a comfortable, comprehensive win. What's going on, keeper? What am I watching? I have never seen my team do the like. Robles is now turning into Joel Finnegan. Oh, seriously. Right, let's just see what we can do with the final sub. Baysau is out on his feet. So are a few others, but there's no wingers that can come on. It's going to be Hodgkinson off for Lindozo. He's looking nervous, though. Some mentality you've brought into the club there. It'll have to be Cavadis. It will have to be. And I think we go attacking. It's our only choice. Oh, it's the most infuriating night I've probably had in this whole save. We've been rubbish teams at the start. We've had a very limited Airbus side. We've had other problems, but never has a night that started so comfortably turned into such a disaster. And what's happened to us at home? From not losing in a year and a half to losing 3 in 5. And on the balance of playing this game, a 3-1 defeat would be an absolute catastrophe. Their expected goals is far less than 1. Ours is 2.5. Can we find a goal? At the moment, as bad as it is, I'd take penalties. Cavadis, what's that? You've got acres of space to bring it down. And we get back to the same issue, don't we? In a game with 6 subs, as North continues to work hard. In a game of 6 subs, our squad is not deep enough and not strong enough. And this lack of financial incentive is going to be a big problem because we've just lost out on about 10 million quid here. They've headed it wide. There's 10 minutes to go. And there's only one team who looks like scoring now. We have fallen away big time. We've run out of steam with the star players that are on the pitch. And the backups are not good enough. Vanderson's beaten by his winger. Beaten again. I'm in a taking a mick now. Cavadis gets it back for Baysau. He's running on empty. He's got nothing left to give. His through ball is towards North, who manages to get there. Joel North is in. Joel North is in. And Joel North scores again. That man only knows big goals. That man only knows how to be a hero. Back to positive. We're going to penalties as it stands. Because it's 3-2 on the night. It's still a disaster on the balance of play. It's given us a chance. And Joel North is always the man. Now, the player who came in January is apparently a very good penalty taker. We'll go and get these guys lined up. We'll be back in a minute for the shootout. Here we go then. Kakada, the January signing, has come on and had a pretty average game here. He's the best penalty taker at the club. And of course he doesn't score. Oh, why? Why did I put him first? It's never about the attribute. He's not scored for the club. He was never going to score that. Their first penalty is saved too, though. Robles making amends for that ridiculous goal he let in at the start of stoppage time, or extra time, sorry, as Cabades steps up confidently, according to the commentary. Why are you confident if you're going to go back pass to the goalkeeper? This is the worst standard of penalty shootout I've ever seen. Sandu up. There's not going to be 4 missed in a row. Oh, there is. Joel Robles saves again. It's George Robles. I'm going back to the older Leeds keeper, aren't I? Joel North is up. Surely if any man's confident, it's him. Joel North. Oh, my God. I don't want to commentate on the rest. Just watch them. Just watch them. Utterly ridiculous shootout. Finally, one's gone in. Not for us, though. Vanderson, been here 15 years. I can't believe what I'm watching tonight. Oh, my God. We've missed all 4. We have missed all 4 penalties. I have never, in the history of my time playing FM, since 05, I don't think I have ever seen a shootout where not one penalty has been scored. I mean, they've just hit one through the goalkeeper there. Robles can't be blamed. He saved 2 out of 4. And we have missed every single one. That is, if ever you wanted a game or an episode to sum up Football Manager, that's your one. Let's go and see when we're going to be back. What a disaster. Well, we do get 8 million for losing, but that's no small consolation. Doesn't even cover 2 months of the loan. Demeter's apparently a vicious foul. I mean, we all saw it. Let's call that vicious. Guido is out for 2 days. Ocon is out for 4 weeks. Of course he is. Who are we going to be coming back for? Because now it's only really the FA Cup and the Premier League to play for. So I'm going to make a very wild assumption that we get past Spurs in the Cup quarter-final. And then we'll be back for the semi-final in mid-April and a Premier League game around that. It's the most perplexing game of FM you will ever see. And in fact, we'll bring this screen up while we go through the outro. If you did enjoy watching me lose 3-2 on the night and miss every single penalty, in spite of those stats there, then please do put a thumbs up on it. The top 4 in the Premier League is at risk because I rested everyone for this game. And my word, has that backfired. We need to go on a run now. Hopefully with some good home games coming up, we should be able to bounce back. But our squad's not that big and we've got a fair few injuries and suspensions. If you want to stay up to date and see how the season finishes, whether we can salvage something in the FA Cup, and whether we have to start looking at the job centre as well, and subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back tomorrow with our Build a Nation story, where I think things will be slightly happier than this, but we're heading into big games, which means red cards might be on the horizon. In the meantime, there's links in the eye above to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and the blog as well. But thank you very much for watching. I'm definitely going to need a break after this one. We'll be back in a couple of days' time, and hopefully I'll see you there.